All right, so we're going to keep each of these really short and sweet because you don't have to go through a lot of stuff. It's just you have to understand the basic concepts. So perfect ad component number one is a picture that takes the viewer's brain on a ride. So as we go through these, I'm going to sort of do them in the order that people notice them when they see an ad. And the first one is your ad image. Now, there's a couple key things that I do, well, more than a couple, but there's a few things that I do that is really going to make your image stand out. And if you just try to follow as many of these as you can, you're going to have an ad image that gets people to stop in their tracks on their timeline so that they notice your ad. Now, once they notice your ad, all the other components that we are going to talk about come into play. But let's get started with this ad image, because if you follow these few rules, you're going to have ad images that just really get people's attention. So let's talk about those. The first thing is there is a deep built psychological part of human beings that when there is a set of eyes looking at them, they can almost sense it. So use that. Build that into your ads. I am always trying to build ads that have an image with people looking back at me. Now, I'm going to include a couple places that I go to get ad images, but that's one of the big things that I'm looking for when I'm looking for an image to put in my ads. Now, I always try to spend a little bit of money with my ads, and the reason is because I want my images to be high quality. You don't want your images to be something free that you ripped off of Google search or some site. You want to put some thought in it, because this is what's going to make you money. So don't be afraid to spend a little cash on an image that really fits and fits the criteria I'm giving you. So number one, it's all about having an image that looks back at you. You put eyes in it, you are going to have a strategic advantage over all ads that don't. Okay, so the next one is we're looking for a picture that has colors that contrast to that Facebook blue. So if you look here at the top, our image up here with the foolproof Facebook ad formula almost has the same blue as Facebook. It's not exact, but it's close. And with that blue, we want colors that contrast with it. So you can see these guys, their ties pop against that color. Even the lighter blue pops against that color so that it really stands out. So you don't want to do things where you have big arrows or big red borders where you're like intentionally trying to look out, because it just looks spammy and people are going to say, I'm over that. You want to have images that have colors that contrast with that Facebook blue and the white, but they don't seem like they're trying. And this is a perfect example. Now, the other thing is you want your image to tell the story without words. I don't like a lot of words on my ad images. And what I mean by that is I want the ad image to speak for itself and tell a story without any of the other stuff. So you've got a headline, you've got all this other stuff, but we want the image to start telling a story. And the story this one tells is, out of these three guys, this guy's getting picked for some reason. And we don't know what it's about yet, but there you go. That's what this image is telling me when I see it. So that image, now it's got to be congruent with the actual ad copy. And when I say ad copy, I'm talking about this headline right here. So the person's going to read this at some point after this gets their attention. So what happens is this has to make sense. So this is about hiring people to help your business grow. So the 5 magic hires that took Fearless Social to 7 figures per year in just 18 months. So this starts to make sense because we're looking for someone to hire. And that's why this is going to click with this. Now, this is not easy. You got to think about this, but it works when you put it together the right way. Now, the last thing that I try to do with all of our images is I try to have something that's just a little bit off, at least one thing. So you got these 3 guys, but maybe you didn't notice when I was talking about it that they don't have noses, but your subconscious picked up on it. And it's just one of those things that's a little bit off. And I didn't have to edit this image in any way. This was just the way the image was. So it's a little strange. Now, the other thing that just sort of is the elephant in the room that maybe you didn't notice right away, but your subconscious did, was this hand is huge. This hand is, bigger than these guys' heads. So that's something that's a little bit off. Now, you combine all of those 5 things. You don't have to do all of them, but you try to do as many as you can, and you're going to have an image that stops people when they see it on their timeline. And they'll stop because the image catches their attention, and then they'll go through the rest of the ad to see if it's something that they're interested in. So there you go. That's what we've got. Now, once we get past component number 1, we get into sort of the next thing that people see. And in the next video, I'll comment. So they see this first. The next thing that they see is something that maybe you wouldn't think of, but it makes a huge difference when you're advertising. So I'll see you in the next video.